I found the text that proves my ex-fiancé scheduled our entire breakup on a shared calendar, and now he is losing his mind because I replaced him before our original wedding date. We had been together for 8 years, built a comfortable life, and were 6 months away from getting married. Out of nowhere, during a weekend trip that was supposed to be a tasting for our catering menu, he sat across from me at dinner and said he felt suffocated. There was no screaming, no massive fight. He just looked at me with complete indifference and said he needed a break to figure out if I was truly the one. When I asked to see his phone, he flatly refused, admitting that he had been talking to a younger colleague from his new firm and wanted the freedom to see where it went. I told him right then that if he walked out the door, there would be no pause button, no trial separation, and no waiting around. He nodded, packed his bags that same night, and moved into a short-term rental. The emotional whiplash was paralyzing. 10 days later, he crawled back, crying and begging for couples therapy. I agreed, hoping to save nearly a decade of history, but the sessions were a nightmare. He was completely defensive, stonewalling the therapist, and refused to admit to anything beyond innocent venting with his coworker, even though he had wiped his entire digital footprint clean. After 3 weeks of hostile silence in our own home, he abruptly announced he was done trying, packed his remaining things, and signed a year-long lease on a luxury apartment downtown. I was completely shattered. The rejection felt physical, and I had to take a leave of absence from my project management job just to function. My days consisted of intensive therapy and trying to understand how a human being could throw away 8 years so casually. A month into this exile, a colleague invited me to a small professional networking dinner. I almost stayed in bed, but I forced myself to go. That night, I ended up talking to a senior consultant from our branch who I had only ever interacted with briefly on Microsoft Teams. What started as a distraction quickly evolved into something deep, grounded, and terrifyingly real. He was transparent, emotionally mature, and communicative in ways my ex never was. I stayed in therapy to ensure I wasn't just using him as a rebound, but our connection grew effortlessly. Within 5 months, we were inseparable. That was when my ex-fiancé decided he had made a catastrophic mistake. He called me, assuming I was still mourning, and suggested we call off the lawyers and give our relationship another chance. When I told him I had completely moved on and was seeing someone else, he erupted. He accused me of being a fraud, claiming I never loved him if I could replace him that fast, and even texted my family to tell them I had been cheating on him during our engagement. The turning point came last week when we met at my lawyer's office to sign the final financial settlement. I bought out his equity in our condo to keep him off the deed entirely. As he held the pen, he looked up and asked if I was absolutely sure I wanted to go through with this. I didn't hesitate. I told him to sign. 2 days ago, while clearing out the last of our shared cloud storage drives to transfer the property files, I found a hidden folder. It contained a digital spreadsheet he had created 3 months before our actual breakup. He had meticulously mapped out his exit strategy, budgeting for his new apartment and scheduling dates with his coworker while we were still actively planning our wedding. He didn't leave because he was confused. He left because he thought the grass was greener, and he only came back when he realized his new fantasy didn't work out. Today, I am happier than I have ever been in my life. My partner and I recently moved into a new home together, and last weekend, he asked me to marry him. We are planning a small, private ceremony by the coast. I look back at the agonizing heartbreak of last year and realize that my ex's betrayal wasn't the end of my life. It was the precise moment I was saved from a lifetime of mediocrity.